video joke. And he said, yeah, it will be a documentary movie, 6,400 world record. And I said, it's crazy, but I went for it. So when I check my checklist, I'm more than happy now of what I have achieved. If you would tell me 5 years ago, Deniz, you will be a world champion in ice swimming, I would say no. If you would tell me you will cross the English Channel, I would say crazy, no shit. But yes, every time when we say no, crazy, no shit, and so on, it's a sign we should do it.
Yeah, it's usually.
And yeah, so for now I can say, okay, maybe I can rest a little bit. But of course, if you start with those kind of extreme sport, the adrenaline kicks in again. You want again these kind of feelings. So 1K Antarctica would be a nice thing.
Okay, that's good. That's I will do it next year, August, in February next year.
Amazing.
Gonna be super excited.
We will do the ice mile, so which is not just 1K. It's,
no, it's
1.6. So.
Yeah, we're gonna do this there.
Yeah.
Gonna be different than the ice mile I did in Egeri. In the outside temperature is much colder.
Yeah, of course.
No, the thing is for me, that is also why I need to settle a score from Tobago to Trinidad. I haven't reached that limit yet. Like I've never in my life in swimming. In other sports, yes, I've reached it, especially in running, with doing marathons or at the end of an Ironman, doing then the marathon and I completed it. But there was really also the physiology limit. In swimming, I have not come very near to, that I would end up at the other side, and I said, I can't no more.
So, tell you the truth, in the English channel, when you watch on YouTube my video how I finished, it was more than how I visualized it. It was amazing. We had a drone, the ARD German television documentary team was there. It was amazing. And I never thought that I even can go out, walk out and dance. I danced, I was so happy, I was like, ooh. My voice didn't work anymore. I was so exhausted, but still I had the energy of celebration. And when I went home, of course we had dinner. They said, oh, you are looking so fit, it's great. I eat and drink normal water. Still my voice, I couldn't speak because after 15 hours of swimming in the sea, you have a 12 shore and problems. And I had flu. I swam with flu.
Yeah.
So this is maybe not a good sign, not a good role model what I did. And then when I wanted to sleep, I had so much adrenaline I couldn't sleep. Then I took some lavendel pills, just normal natural lavendel, some painkillers. Of course, I had so much pain. And then I slept around 2 a.m. After a few hours, I woke up and I had a literally out-of-body experience. I don't know if you know what does mean out-of-body experience, but I woke up, I see myself from the top, I see how I'm lying down on the bed. It was for a few seconds, for a few minutes, I don't know, you are losing the time feeling, right? And then I felt again, I'm again in my body. I woke up and said, oh wow, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
And after that, I felt like a new birth.
Yeah.
When I woke up the day after, I felt like the God gave me a second life, or I was so happy that I survived because I had this kind of exhaustion that this kind of feeling happened, right?
Yeah.
So that is a sign I was on my limit. I did everything what I could.
Yeah.
And after crossing the English Channel, the Catalina Channel, the New York, it was like peanuts.
It's not the same anymore.
You know,
okay.
English Channel was my breakthrough moment. And the same with ice swimming. Of course, 500 was my breakthrough moment, but if I would do 1000, that is another breakthrough moment. So in life, you do many things, many nice, fancy challenges, but you have one which is your breakthrough. And for me, it was definitely the English Channel.
That's very interesting. I've never, funny enough, especially where I'm home, like my home swimming, I haven't gotten that. That is also maybe also the reason why I have to settle my score still, and I'm still chasing something there.
Yeah. So I don't know if you would like to have this feeling or not, but maybe someone of you are curious. So some goes to ayahuasca ceremonies or to other meditation to have this out of body experience, right? So I had it without any drugs. It was like crossing the English Channel, being so exhausted. But yeah.
No, but I was just listening to how you described it for me, and the thing is, even after the distance I covered in Tobago, I didn't get out. I was limited by something else. It was not my body which said, okay, now we're done. The only time when I had it was when really I had problems with my knees, but even then it was not the exhaustion which you have in your lungs, in your body completely. It was just my knees which gave up on this Ironman, the first one I completed, and it just took longer. The second and the third and whatsoever, that was all calculated. It was never going to a limit anymore. It was all calculated to finish an Ironman, and some sort of, this is what is now. I would be interesting to see. That is what I say. Although I must say, the Iceman brought me to a certain limit. I don't know if it's the same thing. It was not the exhaustion or like the exertion which you had. It was more the limit, the cold limit.
Yeah, you're getting frozen, your brain freeze, your body get numb, and of course, how you can feel then that you're exhausted because you're all numb, right? So it's.
I mean, it was.
The body is a complete extreme situation. I think it's more extreme than swimming 15 hours because your all cells getting frozen.
It's funny that you say that, because I always thought, when you look at the number and you're coming from this swimming kind of type, and when you say it's also when you look at ice swimming, you kind of. You did it in a pool and you were one of the good ones in Switzerland and everywhere else, like some sort of, and then you look at it, these times are well, and then you go into the water yourself and you battle that cold. It's a different story. And even the ice mile, there's the ice ocean 7, like the ice, it's also like a challenge which you can do.
Yeah.
So you do the ice mile also in 7 different places. The first one is the first one you do, and then you have other places where you need to go. Antarctica is also one, and it's only 1.6 kilometers. But but it's in the cold water. But when you look at the English Channel, like
it's a completely different challenge, right? So of course, English Channel. It took me 1 year to prepare. Yeah. Even more, so it's a combination of the whole years of self-improvement, mental growth and everything, right? Of course, English Channel is a different level. You are swimming 10-15 hours minimum you're in the water. But this ice mile, this is a completely different extremity, right?
It is, yeah.
So I think you can't compare it, because then you reach the point where you don't feel your body anymore, where you don't feel your fingers and feet anymore. You get completely numb. You completely have the feeling you are losing your body feeling. You even think slower and slower and slower. So you are almost dying, right? So if you would stay half an hour more, you would die. No joke, right? So it's a completely different extremity level where you are facing the extremity so hard, and still you continue. Still you think, I'm in an extreme condition, but I'm still continuing it, where you need to balance between life and death.
It is true. I mean,
so it's a completely different level. I think it's not comparable.
No, I don't think so either.
But it's challenging, definitely.
But we are human beings, right? We try to compare everything we can, right? So sort of you try to match up things. But it's actually interesting to hear from you what it is. So, as I said, I'm a rookie. She's experienced. I'm long distance swimmer, so. I will get there too, but so it's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I guess we covered the.
I think maybe in addition to that, in the English Channel and so on, because I'm a business consultant and I always used to be efficient. Efficiency, sprinting in the water, and ice swimming is also efficient. You go maximum in 28 minutes, 25 minutes you go out, right? So it's so efficient. But when I needed to cross the English Channel, oh my gosh, I needed to train 6 hours trainings, 8 hours trainings, 10 hours trainings. And you know what became the new challenge? To dealing with your boredom.
Yeah.
You're getting bored, you have all the thoughts, and you need to deal with your thoughts. People ask me, did you listen to music? No. Because in the English channel I can't listen music. I need to learn how to deal with my mind games 15 hours.
That's actually a funny point that you actually get at. It's funny that you picked that up because we have I'm coaching Noam Yaron who wants to attempt to swim 180 kilometers. So he starts at Calvi to Monaco. He tried it last year after 100 kilometers. He unfortunately had to stop because also weather conditions changed and something. It was not his ability, and we know until now how to swim 160 kilometers, and this is Neil Argus, shout out to him as well, to do it, to train for it. We know how this works, but how do you train it? This is now how to train someone to go 180 k, so 20 kilometers longer. How do you train that? And again as well, and the discussion that is which we had with the program, because I put together an Excel sheet. So what do we need to do, the training, because I'm responsible for his training swim part. So I write all the sessions and I did month for month, and I'm doing it according to what I know. And then he actually brought back to me and said, oh listen, it's so boring because I don't swim that much usually and I need to do it. And said, you know, and Noam has that's one ability which he's good at. He can just swim. Even if he might not be capable of, his body might not be capable of doing it, he just can continue to do it. It's like a perpetuum mobile in water. Problem is still, we talk about 100 kilometers was okay, because he already did Geneva crossing, Lake Geneva crossing, so which is 75, 78 kilometers, and in 19 hours. So now how do you do that with doing that for 180? So it's like 4 or 5 days maybe.
Yeah.
And there you need to kind of see how to train this challenge. And then I used what's his name, Goggins. And his methodology is about how to train, and I realized that is actually what we need to do, because he's bored in the pool and he's not used to swim that much that often, because he gets bored. And the boredom is the thing which he needs to overcome to actually get to the 180k, to have that extra thing which you get in there. I don't know if it makes sense, but that is actually it's interesting that you say that. And
so I did then the 10 hours training. That was my last peak training here in Zurich Lake, 10 hours. My friend, he has a nice sailing boat. He said, oh, no worries, I will sail with you. I will cover you 10 hours. And then after the first 2 hours, your brain is like so active, saying, oh, why I'm doing this, it's cold, it's the blah, blah, blah. I have already now pain, how I will swim the next 8 hours, and so on. The brain is always... But after 3-4 hours, the brain, our body is smart. Our brain gets slowing down to not lose energy anymore, and just to be like in a survival autopilot mode and just swim and just focusing on the next feed, focusing on the toilet and whatever, right? And after 6 hours, I felt so much pain in my body, so much boredom. But what I recognized in the 6.5 hour, the boredom gets not worse, the pain gets not worse, and even at some point you're getting such in a flow zone that you even get used to the boredom. It doesn't feel worse anymore, and you just get somehow used to it, and you just continue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's what's the same thing for me. I started off swimming, and at some point you end up with, you get snapped out of, so it's like the trance thing. So I never dealt with boredom in swimming. Lucky, I mean.
What are you thinking then?
I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. I wouldn't. I was so zen. Has maybe also something to do with how I swim personally. I have optimized my technique very much to be in a gliding mode, and once you get in there, and when you see all my videos, it's like I also call it the glide. You glide through the water. Maybe it helps, right? And so I get into a mode where I just do it like it's like
a rhythm.
It's right, left, right, and I guess it's a connection also with ADHD. All funny, it sounds a bit schizophrenic, because you have ADHD where you have so many thoughts and you can't really concentrate on one thing, but through that you actually can line everything, and you go into that and have that flow. And so I never had to deal with the boredom part. Also in training, not I can train so often I don't get bored. But I guess it's the same thing, but it's interesting how your perception of this. This is very interesting. Listen, now we could talk hours for this.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
interesting. Yeah. So for this topic, we're gonna wrap it up here. It was very, very much a pleasure to listen to what you've done, what you've achieved. So congrats again.
Thank you. Congrats to you as well. Chapeau.
I'm at the beginning of my journey, and she is right in the middle, or also at the beginning, but a bit further ahead of the journey. We will have other talks where we will talk about it, and follow her accounts. Swimmer psychologist on Instagram, and Deniz Kayadelen, YouTube. Exactly. Here again, she has a book which she talks about exactly what she's told us before.
Out of comfort zone.
A bit more into detail, and
Marcus Martala. Follow him. You already follow him.
So until next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.